Just kidding. Welcome to BunniPhish Crafts. Today is Saturday, the 7th of September 2019. I literally just looked that up a second ago. I'm your host, Heather, known as BunniPhish on Ravelry, Instagram, YouTube, and Patreon. And this is episode 47. Grab some sticks and string and come sit with me. I am so out of practice. It has been such a long time since I recorded. It's mid-July, I want to say. I definitely missed the entire month of August, which I apologize for, but we had so much fun in August. It was such a great month. I will talk about that at the end, though. I will, right up front, talk about school is back in session, which is how I'm able to be here with you. I want to record during the week eventually, but it's a Saturday. My daughter is with my mom. My son is mellowed out in my room with my boyfriend. They're, I don't know, playing video games or watching a movie, doing guy stuff. I kicked them out of the living room so I could have the living room so I could record and talk to you today because I have so much to show you. So much. And so much to talk about. Can I tell you a really quick story? Do you mind? The first day of school was great for the kids, and I believe that I've talked to you guys before about how my son is a reluctant reader. His first grade teacher must have said something to him at some point that made him feel like he wasn't going to learn how to read. And then his second grade reading teacher, not his homeroom teacher, just the reading teacher, she told him that he wasn't worth the effort to try to teach. That was a battle and a half. She no longer works at the school. So he doesn't pick up books of his own volition. So the first day of school, we get in the car, and I collect the paperwork from my kids as soon as they get in the car after school. That way I don't have to try to track them down when we get home. And also, book bags stay in the car. They don't bring them home, or don't bring them in the house, because it's just one less thing to look for in the morning. They don't need them in the house. We just bring in whatever homework they have, whatever papers I need to sign, anything like that, and it's usually like 2 sheets. I can handle keeping track of 2 sheets versus them being in and out of their backpacks for whatever reason. Anyway, that's the system that works for us. So my daughter hands me a stack of papers. That's what I expect on the first day of school. My son hands me 1 sheet of paper, and he's like, there may have been other things, but I wasn't paying attention. Gabriel, it's the first day of school. How are you not paying attention? Well, I was too caught up in the story I was reading. So then I couldn't even be mad at him. So he has been reading these books. They're Michigan Chillers. The school sends home books with them at the end of the school year, to free books, so that because we live in an area where a significant portion of the school is low income, and don't necessarily have access to transportation to the library or can't buy their own books. And also because there are studies shown that reading 4 books on grade level will help students retain the reading levels that they've reached during the school year. So the school sent home 4, and Gabriel didn't like 1 because it is confusing with the language a little bit. It's not confusing. The book is just by Rick Riordan. He does the Percy Jackson series, and there's just a lot of references to mythology in it, and my son was having a hard time because he hasn't studied mythology at all, so he doesn't know any of the characters. He was stumbling over names, and so we skipped that one. And then there were a couple others that he tried reading, and he just didn't like them subject matter wise. One was way too easy, he said. But then one of them was book number 4 in the Michigan Chiller series. And so he has read 4 through 7. I don't remember. And then he's reading book number 3 right now. And then he has these 2 to go from the library. But anyway, this is a really good series for boys if you have a reluctant reader. Pretty much any mom who has a boy that I've talked to has been like, oh yeah, that's a great series. But like boys who are older than my boy. So I'm recommending them to all parents with like upper elementary school boys who are reluctant readers. They're like horror stories, but not super scary, but they're all about monsters in specific cities around Michigan. But there's also an American Chillers series by the same author, and my son was super excited because his teacher had book number 9 in the classroom, which he hadn't read yet, and she had met, what's that fruit fly that won't leave me alone? She had met the author because he has a store in northern Michigan, and so it was a signed book. Anyway, so that was I was super excited. Like, not excited that he wasn't paying attention, but so excited that he has finally found a book that he wants to read, or a series that he wants to read. We've had no arguments or fights about nightly reading time. Don't tell my children. Instead of reading the 20 minutes that they think we read, we actually read 40 minutes. And he doesn't complain at all. He just reads that whole 40 minutes. And I've told him that he is allowed to read even when it's not reading time, but he hasn't gotten to that point yet. I have hopes. Anyway, let's talk about administrative things for the podcast. So first, all the small things has ended because school has started back up, and you guys are so amazing. I dropped the ball on this one. Not just being around in the group, I did not anticipate my summer being as full of things as it was. But yeah, so I wasn't around in the group, and I also did not meet my own personal goal, which was about 3 modular pieces on a blanket today. Or, well, 3 things finished today, which mostly I was planning on knocking out a bunch of squares. I did do a lot of squares, a few hexapuffs. I started putting together my barn raising square blanket a little bit, and I finished things. I just didn't finish as many small things as I had intended. In June I did. In July I kind of flaked off toward the end of the month, and then in August too much was going on. Do you need something? Okay. You're okay. Thank you. So I have drawn winners, and thank you so much for everybody who participated. It was just really great to see. I just went through this morning, and I haven't even looked at the thread since my last podcast. So I went through and I saw everything you guys finished since July 15th. You guys are amazing. And thank you so much for participating. And thank you for cheering each other on. And I have prizes. So I don't even remember what the prizes are. You'll have to go to the thread if you're a winner. Go to the thread, look and see what is there. I'm sure there's a pattern prize, mini skeins, stitch markers. That might be all the prizes. I don't remember. Please look and get in touch with me through Ravelry or Instagram and let me know which prize you would like. It is first come, first serve. I think the only thing though that I can't like give more than one would be, I think there's a project bag up for grabs. So the project bag and stitch markers are first come, first serve. If you pick like the pattern prize or the mini skeins, I can make multiple gifts of that. So send me 2 ideas just in case your first one's not there. And the winners are with entry number 111. So this is how, can you see? So this is how I do it. I write the entry numbers, the post numbers, who made the entry and what it was in my notebook. So it's not based on a post, it's based on entries. So entry 111 is Phoenix Fire, Tracy, for some beautiful hand spun. Prize number 2 is for entry 160, Mama C, for hot pads. And then the third prize is Tracy again, Phoenix Fire, for a skirt that she sewed. So you two get in touch with me. Tracy, you get to pick, I guess, 3 items, just in case your first one's not there. And I'll gift you the first 2, so put them in order. But yeah, you two get in touch with me on Instagram or Ravelry, and I will get your prizes to you very quickly. I'm pretty good about getting to the post office during the school week because I'm out and about anyway. So I'm pretty sure this episode is going up on Monday. So whenever you get it to me during the week, just don't expect me to ship on weekends, and I will get it to you shortly after you tell me what you want, or if it's a pattern prize, I will do it pretty immediately. So next up on administration is, earlier this year, I asked if people would be interested in joining an ornament swap for a handmade ornament, and there was interest, so I have made a questionnaire. There will be a link below that will take you to the questionnaire, so you fill that out, and then sign-ups will be from now through October 15th, and then I will match partners. Do you guys want to do one-on-one swapping? Or would you like to do waterfall swapping? And if we do waterfall swapping, would you like to know who is sending to you? Or do you want that to be a surprise? So the way that waterfall swapping works is that person A sends to person B sends to person C sends to person D, and person D sends to person A. So you're not sending to the same person who's sending to you. And we could do that waterfall style and keep it a secret, or you could know who both of your partners are on either end. Let me know either in the comments below, or there's a Ravelry thread for this ornament swap. So let me know which way you want to do that. You do not need to be on Ravelry to participate in the swap. I know that I have a lot of viewers who are not on Ravelry. So the ornaments can be, let's have rules set out right now. Dates first. So questionnaire filled out by October 15th. That means people have a little over a month to see this episode, click the thing, fill out the ornament questionnaire. I will match partners up either one-on-one or waterfall style, depending on what people are looking for, what the group consensus is, and I will match people up by October 19th at the latest. I may get it finished by October 16th, but I know that my life gets a little crazy. And I also know that parent-teacher conferences are October 15th and 16th. So trying to give myself a little breathing room, but I will get you matched up as soon as I possibly can. But by the 19th of October at the very latest. And then ornaments should be shipped between November 15th and November 30th. I don't want to do it I don't want people to ship earlier than November 15th because I kind of want everybody to get their ornaments all at the same time-ish. You know, early enough that you can decorate with, there's a fuzz floating through the air. Early enough that you can decorate with your ornament, but not so early that you'll get it and then you'll have to set it aside because it's too early to decorate and then you won't be able to find it. So those are the dates. The rules are that you have to send an ornament and a card to your swap partner. So the ornament should be whatever, it should correspond to whatever they pick for their holiday preference. So I listed several options. I'm probably going to forget them talking out loud, but Christmas, secular, Christmas, religious, Christmas, or winter, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, and then other. I put an other option because maybe what you really want for Christmas is a Halloween ornament, or maybe, I don't know, maybe you have something that you like. There's also on the questionnaire a space to say if you collect a certain type of ornament, like stars or mittens or tiny stockings, whatever, or turtles. Maybe you really like turtles. My best friend really likes frogs, so if I was going to make her a handmade ornament, I would probably do like a little frog in a Santa hat, something like that. Anyway, you'll see those questions when you hit the questionnaire. I will send you all of that information, and then you send it out between November 15th and 30th. Oh yes. So the other things are, you're only obligated to send an ornament and a card. So the card should be, or the ornament should be what your partner wants, and then the card can be whatever holiday card you would send out anyway, because I don't want people to have to like go and special find cards if, for instance, like me, you buy your holiday cards for the next year on clearance at the end of the previous holiday season. So maybe people already have stacks of cards. I just think that would be I think that would be a fun way to share holidayness anyway. So if you would like to send extra little goodies with your ornament, that's completely on you, but just know that you might not get extra goodies back. It's totally based on what your partner wants to do, or if we do it waterfall style, whoever is sending to you, it's their preference. I also gave an option if people want to swap with multiple people, that would also be fine, because I wouldn't mind sending several ornaments and receiving several ornaments. I would actually really like that. So that's an option on the questionnaire. Let's see. Oh, and please post a photo of your received ornament in the Ravelry group if you're on Ravelry. If you're not on Ravelry, please get in contact with me and send me a picture so I can put it on Ravelry. I think that even if you're not a member of Ravelry, you should be able to see what people are posting in the thread to see what everybody else is getting. So I'll make sure after, somewhere in December, I'll make sure on an episode to put that thread so people can look at them. I think that's everything that I wanted to say about that. I will link, so the questionnaire will be linked, the Ravelry thread will be linked, so that if you have questions and you're on Ravelry, you can post them there. You can see the full list of rules there. And I hope you guys sign up. It should be really, really fun. I'm really, really excited. Oh, the other thing too is that the ornament has to be handmade. I don't necessarily think it needs to be, okay, I'm going to executively decide that you don't have to hand make the ornament. If you're a viewer who doesn't craft, but you want to participate anyway, there are tons of like craft shows and stuff that happen around the holiday season that you could pick up an ornament from. That is also an option. I'll be hand making mine, but you don't have to hand make yours. They just have to be handmade. And also, I love handmade ornaments that are not necessarily knitting related. I picked up for some of my friends that I sent in a package a couple years ago these little Michigan shaped clay ornaments that had different things stamped on them. So that was really, really fun. I picked them up at a local artist shop. And Also, the reason why you don't have to include things is because I think that I'm going to make maybe not all of the ornaments that I send out, but several of the ornaments flat so that they can just ship in a card and I don't have to ship out a package. Because then I can just post it from any mailbox and not have to go to the post office. So that is 100% an option. Which doesn't mean that I can't send extra things with those things. They would just be flat. So they can ship in a card. That's what I'm thinking. But yeah, feel free to make all the comments about that because I would love to hear your ideas. I think this is going to be so much fun. So much fun. I'm so excited. And then the last piece of administration is I will be hosting Finisher Frog in November and December again. So that is something that I've done every year, and you finish a thing. If it's started before November 1st, it counts as 2 entries. If it's started after November 1st, it counts as 1 entry. And if you frog something, that counts as 1 entry. So if you feel like front loading and starting a whole bunch of stuff at the end of October, that's acceptable. So that you can have 2 entries. I don't know what prizes are because that's so far away. But I did want to give you a heads up that that will be a thing again because I always have a lot of fun doing it and you guys seem to have a lot of fun doing it. So let's hop into finished objects because I have so many. I have a couple that I can't show you. I finished the tripartite for my sister. I know, I'm so excited. I finished, so it took me forever to do the first half. The way you do it is there's 2 halves and then you put them together and then there's a little collar. It took me forever to do that first half because I just didn't want to. It was garter stitch, I wasn't feeling it. And then I realized that with very little setup, I could easily work on the whole thing, even the short row sections, through the movies. So we went to the movies a few times over the summer. I did that. I worked on it in the car when we were driving on a trip. It was just so easy to finish once I got over the mental hurdle of I don't really want to work on this garter stitch thing. It was super fast and super cute, and all of the pictures I have on it were my sister jumping around because she refused to take a picture where she was just standing still. So there you go, Amanda. You are now on the internet looking ridiculous because you wouldn't stand still, but she knew it was going to happen. So that was knit out of fingering weight yarn. The pattern is written for lace weight. I used size 3 needles. I don't remember what was recommended in the pattern. I think it was size 3, but I don't recall. I cast on 88 stitches instead of whatever the pattern said to do because adjustments, as I do. What else about it? I follow the pattern pretty closely other than that. Oh, except there is eyelet details and my sister didn't want that. So I just, instead of doing the short rows as written, I did twinned stitches so that there weren't any holes on the side. And I used Malabrigo yarns. Is that right? Malabrigo or Manos? Manos yarns, I think. Oh, I can't remember. I always get those two confused in my head, and I don't have a ball band because I gave my sister back the second, or the extra ball bands. It's Manos del Uruguay. Yes, it is. It is for sure. Very nice yarn to work with, and the sweater vest pattern thing was nice too. So I did that. I also finished spinning that alpaca silk, the red black silk. I don't know if I have a picture. If I do, I'll insert it right around here. And I don't know where I put the finished skeins. So there were two because the when I was winding it off, it split and I couldn't get it back together. So there's just two skeins. It's a single. I don't know the yardage off the top of my head. I don't know if I even measured it. I did wash it and thwack it. So it's finished yarn. I just don't know where I put it. I finished it right before we were going on a trip. So like it finished drying right as we were walking out the door. So I set it somewhere in my room. I don't know where that place is. So set it somewhere safe. That's the worst thing ever, is when you set things somewhere safe. I think, oh, I have one more thing that I finished that I don't have with me. So I made my best friend some slippers, and they are the slipper socks by Patterns. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. You'll probably also find it on their website. It's worsted weight slipper. I don't remember the yarn that I used, and I don't have a ball band. It is linked on my Ravelry though. So I made her a blue pair, and I finished that, and I made it 2 pattern. Used US size 7. I think it tells you to use 2 different needle sizes, like do the cuff on one needle and then change to the other. I did not. I don't almost ever do that. Like when hats say to do that, I generally don't. And they fit her. She loves them. She really likes Mucklucks, which is a brand of slippers, but they are expensive and hard to find. So she could order them online, but I just decided I would make her some. So I made her that blue pair. I finished that while we were camping, and no, I finished it right. I think I finished, yeah, I finished it right before we went camping. So I gave them to her. We went camping on a trip together, which I will talk about at the end. And she wore them a couple days because it was really chilly. Okay, everything else I can show you. This is my stack of finished objects. It's a lot. First up, I have this beautiful skein of yarn. I have not washed it or thwacked it because I finished it on camping, and we got back from camping exactly a week ago today, and then we went straight into school stuff. So I've just been trying to like shift back from being on vacation and also get ready for all the school. And the first week of school is exhausting. On Thursday, we came home from school and I was like, just don't talk to me. I can't talk to anybody right now. I took a 2-hour lie down. So then I got up and we did dinner, and then I still went to sleep at the normal time. Sometimes it's like that, right? So yes, this is Zany Crafts. This is the rest of the fiber from the spin that I did for my Chaotic Neutral, the second version. And this is a cable ply. So I spun, let's see if I can pull out one that has good contrast so you can see how it spun up. Okay, I think that one will be good contrast. Maybe. You might be able to see that. So I did I did a 2-ply that, so I spun my singles and then I plied 2 together, and I over twisted that on purpose. And then I took the 2 ends of the yarn that I had plied and I plied that together. So it's 4 plies of yarn, but plied 2 and 2 and then 2 together, which I haven't done before. And that of course makes the process take longer, but I kind of like the way the yarn looks. I think it's really cool. It's a technique I will try again. I have also seen it where people do 3 2-plies and then 3-ply them together. So I might try that next time I decide I want to do a cable ply. I also finished this Aura pullover, which I've not worn yet because it's been too hot, but my dog slept on, so it's been through the wash already. This is by Heidi May, and I made some adjustments to it. So this is where I was last time you saw it. And then I did a class, and I worked all the way up to the collar. And then I did another class, and I got all the way down here. So you work up and over. And then I got home and I was like, oh, I'm so close. Let's just keep working on it and finish it instead of waiting for another crochet class. So I got down to this part right here and I ran out of the brown, which kind of confused on how that happened because I should have had, based on the ball band, plenty of yarn to finish the sweater, the knitting or the crocheting of the sweater, plus do the collar as is in the pattern. And as you can see, mine does not have a collar, which is fine. I paid for the giant skein of yarn on clearance, only $5 for, you know, what I thought was going to be an entire pullover. So it's fine. But I had this purple, which I thought looked pretty nice with the brown, so I just went ahead and put that in also. And the second part of the sweater is shorter by that much, but I think it'll sit like this, and that'll give me a nice neckline. And I also changed the pattern by being lazy, and I didn't work in buttonholes. I was just too lazy to do it. I also didn't weave in this end. But I didn't put in buttonholes because this is worked, it's worked in single crochet, but since it's worked on such a large hook, the space in between the stitches is big enough for me to get these 1-inch buttons through. So I have 4 buttons. I have 2 that match and the other 2 don't match at all. So these are my buttons. And this is mostly just kind of a lounge around in the bed sort of sweater, which is what I wanted it for. And I will try it on for you. I don't know what to do about this neck because I want it to be a cozy, I wanted it because it has the cowl, which would keep me cozy and it would leave my arms free. So I don't know if I should just get a skein of this brown or maybe that purple, see if I can find a skein of that somewhere and do a neck. Because it's not what I want. It's not what I want this to be. But it is finished and it's okay. It's just not what I wanted. I wanted that giant neck. What do you guys think? You think I should try to find more yarn? You think I should just, there's no way that I can just let it be. Do you think I should try to find the brown? Do you think I should try to find the purple? Since it's supposed to be just a bed loungy sweater, should I just go and buy whatever color I can find and do the neck? What do you guys think? Let me know. It's not quite time to wear it yet, but I want to be happy with it when I do wear it, even though it's just a comfy loungy thing. I have also finished a pair of socks. My sister has decided she wants shorty socks because her tattoos on her ankles have been bothering her. Not for a reason, but when things touch her like leggings or socks or anything, her boots touch her tattoos, they've been just itchy and irritated. So I made her a pair of shorty socks and I did match up the stripes because I just felt like it at that time. Fish Lips Kiss heel, size 0 needles, yarn that I got on clearance. If I remember the name of the yarn company, I will put it at the bottom, but you probably can't find it anymore since the skein was on clearance, and I don't even know how long ago it was on clearance. So, some sister shorty socks. Just plain vanilla, so that I could have socks for knitting while I was walking around and stuff. I have an almost finished pair of slippers. So I made the blue pair, and then I started a gray-brown pair, and I finished the first slipper while we were camping. And since they're for my best friend, I just gave her the first slipper, and she has it. And that way I wouldn't have to worry about it traveling back with my stuff and possibly losing it, and reasons. I just sent it with her for reasons. So she has the first one. This is the second one. This is how much work I did on it yesterday in the parent pickup line. So they work up super, super fast because it's worsted weight yarn, and it's a super quick, easy pattern, but I changed it. I changed the cable pattern down the front so that on the first one, there are twisted stitches, twisted knit stitches and purl stitches in the center of the diamonds. I was just too lazy. That's all it was. Laziness. I wanted something that was even more mindless than the original pattern was. I mean, this is still pretty. They were still simple with those twisted stitches. I just didn't want to do it. I also these cables, these side cables, can you kind of see them? Maybe. What am I even showing you? I'm showing you this cable. Okay, yeah, I think you can kind of see, even though it's a really variegated modelly yarn. So these cables, I added more rows in between the crosses so that I would have to cross them less often. Instead of making it an 8-round repeat, I made it a 10-round repeat because that worked out really well with the counts for the panel here. I didn't just take the center cable panel and take out the stitches. I made a different cable panel for the center that I thought would look nicer. So the diamonds are proportionally, it's the same amount of rows, but I had to do 2 repeats on the first pair of slippers, and then I had to do 3 repeats on the second pair of slippers. So the diamonds are much shorter, and so they look wider on the second pair. I'm really pleased with those. I put suede bottoms on the slippers. I just picked these up at my local yarn shop. So all I have to do is attach this slipper to this suede bottom, and then this will be finished. I anticipate finishing this early this week. I might not do it today. I might not do it tomorrow, but if I don't do it this over the weekend, I've been taking these as my pickup line knitting. So if I don't finish this slipper this weekend, I will take it. I will finish it on Monday. It doesn't take very long to attach the slippers. The suede soles come pre-punched with these holes, so it's really easy to just blanket stitch around it. Because it is a slipper, knit it with slight negative ease. You can see it's kind of shorter. I will pin it with a needle. I will take a little video of that process and put it in at the episode next time, so that you can see how I attach the suede slipper sole to the slipper itself. So I'm counting that as finished this week because it's basically finished. It's just the sole needs to be stitched on. So I'll show it again next week, but I'm not going to talk about it again next week. There's probably be a picture somewhere. I also finished that pair of design socks that I was super, super excited about, and I'll flash you this much. So you can kind of see what's going on. This sock is really cool. I need test knitters for it. It is an intarsia in the round pattern. There is a heel flap and gusset. Super simple. I think it's super simple. And when I was explaining how it works to people, they were like, oh, it looks really hard, but it's not really that hard, is it? No. So I do need test knitters for this. I will be putting up on Instagram a call for test knitters soon. If you are not on Instagram and you are interested in test knitting, leave me a note here or on Ravelry and I will get in contact with you about how to do that, how to become a test knitter for me. In addition to those socks, I have a hat that needs to be test knit, and I will show you something else that I'm going to need test knit soon, but that's in works in progress. This is not mine. I did not make this. My sister made this. It is a cowl using 2 different colors of yarn, and she doesn't read patterns, so she not necessarily invented, but kind of invented all of these stitch patterns of different ways to manipulate 2 colors of yarn in crochet. And so she made this cowl for me because I make her things all the time, and she wanted to make me something, and she was like, what will you use? If I make you a blanket, will you use a blanket? And I was like, yeah, I mean, maybe. I might use a blanket if you make it for me. My hesitancy in using blankets is that I have a dog who lays on me all the time, which is fine. I love her. She's the best, and she's my little cuddle buddy. But that means that she will lay on the blanket, and knitted blankets, crocheted blankets tend to trap that dog fur in the yarn. So she asked if she could make me a blanket for my car for parent pickup, and I said, yeah, I would definitely use that. And then she asked me what I would actually use the most of, and I said fingerless mitts and cowls, because like she wanted to know what small things I would use. She could make me a hat, that would be fine, because I wear a lot of hats, but I have a significant amount of hats. So she could have made me one of those. I said hats are good too. I'm sure that starting in a couple weeks, you'll see me in a hat pretty much every podcast because my ears will start to get cold. But she made me a cowl instead, and I think it's so beautiful. The patterns, the crochet stitches that she used are amazing, and I really, really like the colors in this cowl. It's not the softest cowl, so I might, it's not blocked or anything. She doesn't do that. So I might wash it with some conditioner and then block it. It's not like super rustic. It's just the skin around my neck is really sensitive. So maybe I will do that. She also was thinking about getting buttons to put on, but she didn't do it. So I might add buttons, I might not. I like cowls with buttons. I think buttons are just a really fun thing to have on things anyway. So I'll show you one more time because I think this is really, really cool. I'm almost finished with finished objects. I know, there have been so many. So my local yarn shop, City Knits, has this brand of yarn that just came in not too long ago. They just started stocking it, I want to say the beginning of August, and I just was enchanted by it. I was like, oh, it's so, what is this? This is it's a super bulky, right? Where does it tell me? Anyway, it's 10% alpaca, 15% wool, and 75% acrylic. So it's really soft, it's really warm, and the recommended needle size is 9 to 10. Or, yeah. So this is the yarn that I used for both of these next finished objects. One is crocheted. So this is crocheted out of 2 balls of the rainbowy yarn. And I crocheted it, and both of these projects took like an hour, maybe an hour and a half, because crocheting is super fast, and I was double crocheting, so 2 balls went as fast as knitting 1 ball. I got this colorway and I really, really liked the colors in the ball. And I actually cast it on to knit. I was going to knit a buffalo crossing, which is my design. And I thought that this would look really cool in chevrons, but then I started working it and I didn't like the colors, I didn't like the color order. I didn't know how it was going to work up, but I just wanted it to work up differently than it did. So I did the cast on, and I knit probably like 10 stitches, didn't even make it across the row. And I was like, nope, I don't like it. I'm gonna pull it out. I just so happened to have a size P crochet hook in my bag. So I decided I would just crochet it up for my daughter instead. So I call this her Rainbow Dash cowl. And on her, it's much longer because she's only 8. But this is what it looks like, and it's not hideous. I don't hate it. It's just not what I wanted the colors to do. So I was glamored by the ball of yarn, and then it was not the ball of yarn that I wanted it to be. So it's her ball of yarn instead. And she wore it while we were camping because it was chilly. So she likes it, and that's the important thing. And then when we got back from camping, I was like, well, I still like that yarn, the makeup and stuff, and I still want a cowl out of it, but I definitely want a knit cowl. So for the crochet one, I used up every inch of yarn. I just went until it was finished. Now I have fuzzies in my nose from taking off and putting on cowls and sweaters. So I got this colorway, which is gray and pink. My main winter coat is, what is that pattern? It's a woven coat. I can't think of what the pattern is called for the style that it's woven in, but it's black and white threads. So I figured this would look really, really nice with it. It's just a little bit of pink, and but it's not pinky pink. I don't know. So this is the cowl that I made, and it will be nice and close and toasty and keep me super warm when I'm in the parent pickup line. Again, I didn't weave in this end. It's fine. I have to take it back to the knit shop to show everybody what I made. So I will weave in the end on Wednesday when I go there. What you need?
I'm just joining in.
You're just joining in for a second?
Yeah.
Okay, hi. Your hair's looking a little crazy. That's okay, my hair's looking a little crazy too from taking off and putting on cowls.
Yeah.
How do you like school so far?
It's good.
Yeah? Anything you want to tell them about school?
No.
Anything you want to tell them about the books you're reading?
They're actually really cool.
Yeah? You like them a lot?
Yeah.
Good. Okay, go away. I'm going to finish recording.
Don't worry.
Okay, but it's too hot for you to be touching me, especially while I'm wearing this cowl.
The cowl doesn't heat up you that much right now.
You're incorrect. I don't know if you could hear. He said the cowl doesn't heat you up very much right now. The alpaca and wool, even though it's only 25% of the overall content, you guys know how that, especially alpaca works. So I'm looking forward to this, and I think in just a few weeks, maybe a month on the outside, I will be able to wear that. I'm super excited. And that is my entire stack of finished objects. Let me look at my list real quick. Make sure I talked about everything. Yes, yes. Yes, 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 Yes. Okay, good. So I'm going to go and fix my hair because I'm sure you don't care, but it's sitting funny, so it feels funny on my head. And then we will talk about whips. So first up, now that I am back at the kids are back at school, I am back working in the lunchroom, which means that I need lunchroom knitting and also a simple project that I can carry for while I'm waiting in the drop-off line in the morning. It only takes less than 10 minutes to get through the line. Sometimes I'm there early enough that I don't have to wait at all. Or like sometimes I come right at an exact time where I just drive straight through, stop for the 30 seconds it takes for my kids to get out of the car, and then keep going. So there's itchiness in my nose. No knitting time at all during those points, but sometimes it's about 10 minutes. So it's also my like train knitting and stoplight knitting. So I started a vanilla sock, and I don't always work on vanilla socks when I am doing school knitting. I did I want to say it was Effervescent by Lisa K. Ross earlier this year, not the school year, but in the spring. I did that at school, and that was an easy enough pattern. As long as the pattern is not super complicated, I can do it at school. But I decided it was the first week, I was just going to do a vanilla sock. And also, I feel like this yarn lends itself only to vanilla. It is, the ball band is all the way down at the bottom of the bag, but I have it and I will show it to you. It is Regia Mountains and Fjords line. So I think this yarn is really ugly, but the socks are not for me. And I knew the recipient would think they were really, really nice. And he does. These are boyfriend socks. They're just vanilla, but I think they're super ugly. I would never pick these colors for me, but he likes them a lot. And when I saw it at the store, I was like, oh, that's what he's gonna want. He's gonna like them. So I cast these on maybe last week while we were camping, maybe when we got back. I don't remember. And I've just been working on this sock all week. I will definitely finish the sock by, I don't know. I mean, this first sock will be finished next week when I see you. So you'll see the first finished sock. I probably won't work on the second sock before I see you again because I am being difficult with my knitting, as I like to do. I'm using US size 1 2.25 millimeter bamboo needles for this sock, and I don't know if I talk about row counts with you usually. It's a 60 stitch sock. I'm going to talk numbers. I'm sorry, are you counting? I'll give you a second to get to the end, a few seconds to get to the end of whatever you're counting. So I'm going to talk numbers now. So it's a 60 stitch sock. I did 20 rounds for the cuff. Usually I do 10 rounds. I was just feeling 20 this time. So 20 rounds for the cuff, 60 rounds for the leg. I used the yarn from the outside of the ball to do a fish lips kiss heel. And then I'm going to do 70 rounds down the foot. And I will do my regular like short toe that I do because my toes are really wide. And so yeah, it's just a different way to do a toe. It's in all of my sock patterns. So if you've done one of my sock patterns and you followed the toe, that's the toe I'm going to use for these socks. But the reason why I probably won't start the second sock is because I'm working on this project, which is in my ZK 2018 bag. I did not go to that ZK, but it was gifted to me. They're doing some sort of city maintenance stuff out there. I'm sorry if you can hear it. I'm sorry if it's distracting. And I'm using this bag specifically because it has this clear panel, and I am doing a color work pattern. So I'm just going to flash that real quick so you can see that there's a chart. So I slipped my chart in there and I can see what I'm working on for the row. And I have decided I almost never print out patterns. Pretty much never. Like sometimes I'll jot down a repeat on a small piece of paper or something, but printing out patterns, I usually don't need to. But since this is a color work thing and it's not a regular pattern, I mean, it does eventually become a repeat, but it's like a 37 row repeat or something. I don't know. I didn't count. I made that number up. I decided to print out the charts for it, and I am just using this colored pencil to color in where I am in the chart. When I made these socks the first time, it was way back when I lived in Kentucky. I had my own craft room. I had a computer set up where it was like right on my desk, so I would just sit down at my computer, do however many rounds I was going to do, and then mark it using a highlighter on the computer and then walk away. So I didn't need to print it, it just stayed at my computer. That's not my life right now. I have my laptop, but I don't always have it with me. And I could still do it that way, but I'm just not doing it that way. And plus, I took this project with me camping, and I did not take my laptop camping. So printed pattern was the way to go. Did I say what this is? These colorwork socks? It's a pattern called Nightingale by Vintage Pearls. It is a paid for pattern on Ravelry. A friend of mine gifted it to me forever ago when I was going back and forth over which sock in my queue I wanted to do. They gifted me this one. So that's what it is, and I will show you what that looks like right now. But you'll see that it looks a little strange. I'm knitting the socks 2 at a time, but there's a third sock on the needle. Talk about that in a second. So here we are. I have mini skeins from AZK, another one that I didn't attend, but that were very graciously sent to me, which is exciting. So I have those ZK mini skeins, and that is what I'm using for the main colors. I don't know what the colors are this time. I will remember to bring, there was a like little kind of like a postcard size piece of cardstock that listed who the dyers were and what the colorway names were. I will bring that next time. I just didn't bring the bag of all of the yarns with me, but I will make sure to, when I'm editing this and I see that I say that, I will make sure that that bag ends up on this shelf so that I have it for next time I record, which should be next week because the kids are in school. So I am doing color blocks though, because it's a set of 7 mini skeins and they make a rainbow. I don't know if I'm going to get through all 7 colors or if I'm only going to get through 6. I kind of did the math on the rounds, but then I changed the rounds, so now I don't know what the math is going to be. I don't know. So we'll see. It'll either be 6 or 7 colors in a rainbow. The last color is pink. So if I don't get to the pink, I'm not going to be heartbroken personally because it's pink, but I do kind of want the whole set to be in here. I am not using up the full mini skeins for this project for each block, so I'm thinking I'm going to make a couple pairs of rainbow shorties a couple different ways. I'm thinking maybe even 3 pair, because I usually make shorty socks for Haley, but now I kind of also want to make a pair I definitely want to make a pair for myself, so I'm definitely making those 2 pair, but I would probably also make a pair for my sister. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking for those. I am very close to being finished with this orange color. So I have, using my stitch markers to count things for me so I don't have to count. And I actually have 2 counts going right now. So I am 2 rounds away from starting the gusset, and then I am 10 rounds away from being finished with the orange block. Oh my gosh, these socks look so good on the camera. I mean, they look good in person too, but they look better on the camera right now because in person I can see the wonkiness of the stitches from floats and stuff. All of it will look fine. I know that once I wear them or block them, everything will even out and it doesn't look terrible in person, but seeing it on screen was just really, really lovely. So yeah, I'm getting really close. The black that I'm using is Premier Yarns Serenity Sock in black. And the reason why there is a third sock on the needles is that I only have 1 pair of size 0 needles in 40-inch cable to do magic loop, and I only have 1 set of size 0 needles in double points, and all of my size 0 9-inch circulars are in projects right now. So, plus, I feel like if this pattern was just a pattern that I had that I would like pick up and work on, I would literally pick up and do like 1 round a week. Just because I have to concentrate when I'm working on it. And I like projects that I have to pay attention to, but not that I have to refer to the pattern every round. And for these, I have to look every round because look, this is a huge motif. It's huge. Eventually it becomes repeatable, but right now nothing's been repeated yet. So the way that I'm making sure that I get through these socks, because I really, really want these socks. I've wanted this pattern with this yarn for, at least a year. At least. Probably more. But the way I'm making myself do that is whenever I have to do anything where I would need a second set of needles to work on a sock, I put it on this magic loop and I do it like this. So I'm not allowing myself to use my double points. I'm not allowing myself to use the extra 9-inch circulars that I have when they're available. I am doing it magic loop. So I am currently on this sock working on the toes, or the one toe. The one toe. That's one sock. It only has 1 toe space because it doesn't have separate toes. It has irregular decreases because this is not your regular vanilla sock. This is a Ziprelaxagon by Kirsten Hall. I love this pattern so much. I have made 3 other pair of Ziprelaxagon. These are shorties because they're for my sister. She wanted them short. Originally, she wanted them as long as I could make them with the yarn, but that was a year ago. I started these about the same time that I started the tripartite sweater. So she changed her mind and she wants them to be shorty socks. Not just because she wants shorty socks, but also because, you know, about a year ago is when we went to the yarn shop for the first time. And previous to that, she had always just worked with yarn that you buy at big box stores and almost exclusively worsted weight acrylic. Well, now she's fancy. And even though I've been telling her forever, oh, you should try wool yarns, or oh, you should try this, she has just now started listening to me now that we go to the yarn shop, and so she wants the rest of this yarn to make whatever she wants with, but she wants it. Okay, the colors are much better up here versus pulled back by me. So yeah, those are the colors, and as you can see, it is an entrelac pattern. Don't be concerned. If you've ever done anything modular where you pick up stitches, this is a breeze. And if you haven't, it's really, really not that difficult. It makes a really stunning finished object. It's super potato chippy because you just want to finish one more motif just really quick. You just want to do that one. And they're really quick to knit. There's no reason why this should have taken me as long as it did, except I just kept finding other projects that I was like, I want to make this, oh, I want to make this, oh, I want to make this. And my sister would be like, oh, you should make this, you should make this, you should make this. So these just got set to the side. No reason. I love this pattern. I will make this pattern again for sure. I know I will. I don't know when, but I will. It's also a really, really nice pattern to use with variegated yarns because things don't have a chance to pool in this pattern. So it's just, I really, really like it. So this is one of the socks. So I have to do another tier. These are called tiers in the pattern. I have to do another tier of hexagons on this and finish this toe, and then I have to do the cuff, and this sock will be finished. And then the other sock in my beautiful sister bag. Can you see that? Beautiful sister. I really, really like this bag. It's beauteous. The other sock is in here, and I could have finished this before I started recording, but I just really wanted to start recording so that I could be recording because this is going to take forever to edit, which is fine, but it's just going to take forever. This is the other sock, and it has like a quarter of a hexagon to go, and then the final tier, you can kind of see what I was talking about with the other sock, the final tier of hexagons will be finished, so it will just need the toe and the cuff. This is also on US 0, and this yarn is Manos del Uruguay Alegria, and the color is Lucura Fluo. Is that right? Maybe. Maybe, maybe not. So I'm getting really close. And then my sister will get the rest of this yarn to play with and do whatever she wants with. So going back to the Nightingale, the way that this will get worked on is I have the toe of the sock started. I'm going to have the toe of this sock to do, and then I have the cuffs of both of those socks to do, but I will also be doing the toe of this sock on those needles. So my plan is once I finish the toe I'm currently working on, I'm actually going to cast on a toe for another pair of socks that they're just going to be shorty socks. They're going to be worked on at school, but I'm going to do the first toe. I'm going to do that toe so that when I get to the toe of this, I can transfer this toe off of these needles onto these needles and transfer that toe off of these needles and onto this needle and go. I know I make things so complicated for myself. Don't even care. That's just how I do it. It's fun for me. So that's my sock game right now. There's a lot going on. It's a lot. So I've also been doing some spinning. Not a ton. I mean, I did finish 2 spins and I worked on 2 other spins, only one of which I'm going to show you, but I started a new one. I didn't get too far with it. This is for my sister. She saw this fiber and she was like, oh my gosh, can you make that into yarn for me? I said, yes, but how thick do you want it? Because last time she bought me one of these, she just wanted it spun bulky as a single. if you've been watching a while, that was the fiber that I made a Turkish spindle out of pencils in the parent pickup line and spun that fiber basically in an evening. This she wants to be a fingering weight single. So it's going to take longer. Plus this fiber feels kind of compacted. I don't know how long it's been at the yarn shop, but judging by other hand. So judging by the colors of the labels, my guess has been there for a while. So it's a little compacted. It's okay. It's just, I'm thinking that says North American wool, and it's called Northern Lights Pastels. I have spun probably, I mean, maybe an hour on this. I don't feel the need to spin on it that often. I am trying to like quota spin it, so like 15 minutes a day, or I was before I went on my trip. Maybe I'll make that a goal again, so that's not sitting on my spindle forever. I haven't been spinning since I've been back. Like there was no spinning at all this week, so maybe I'll try to get back to 15 minutes on any of my spinning projects. So yeah, it's just a little something. It's for my sister. She doesn't need it at any point, just, you know, whenever I finish it. So it's not that big of a deal. Can we talk about my hair for a second? Because it's driving me crazy. So I only wash my hair every 2 weeks, except that I use a Lush shampoo bar, but we have a bunch of shampoo that my sister bought forever ago. Yeah, she's been moved out for a year, more than a year, and we're still going through her shampoo collection that she left behind. So I washed my hair Saturday when we got home. Sorry, there was a truck backing up. So I use a shampoo bar from Lush. I will look up which one it is and put it at the bottom. I love it. It keeps my hair, it cleans it really, really well so that there's nothing left on my hair, but it doesn't strip the moisture from it. So my hair always looks super great from day 1 to day like 12, and then days 13 and 14 it's like, but really you could probably wash your hair now. And I'm like, just 2 more days. So normally that's what I do, but my shampoo was still packed in my travel stuff from camping, and I was like, because I jumped into the shower immediately when I got home from camping. Camp has showers, but and they're not gross showers. They're like decent showers. The site has, you know, decent showers, but they're not my shower with my water pressure and my shower head. And so I immediately jumped in the shower. I didn't have my shampoo, and I was like, okay, well, let me just use a shampoo that's in here, because when I say we have been working through them, really my kids have been working through the shampoo that my sister left. And I used one, and it's only been a week, and like day 2, it started feeling like not dirty, but not clean. And I'm definitely gonna have to wash my hair today or tomorrow. I cannot go another week. It's just, ugh, it feels gross. It does not feel like my hair. It also feels heavy, which my hair doesn't do when I use the Lush shampoo bar. So yeah, that has nothing to do with anything except that my hair keeps driving me crazy because it's kind of dirty and kind of heavy. And I'm sorry that I didn't wash it before I talked to you, but I didn't. That's not what happened. So next up, work in progress, I have this to represent some spinning that I did. I wound this off of the spindle because the spindle got too heavy to spin nicely. I'm going to 2-ply this yarn on itself. So it will be, I don't know, a worsted weight, maybe. It's thicker than what I normally spin, but it's also from kind of an art bat. I don't know what all is in it, but it's from Frost Yarn. When I started the spin, I didn't know who the who made it. It was a gift to me from Josh at the ZK, and it's beautiful. I mean, I follow Frost Yarn on Instagram, and I have loved her stuff forever, but I haven't worked with anything from her, and Nicole does beautiful things. Look at that. It's gorgeous. So it's mostly black, but every once in a while there's just a little bit of some gorgeous color. So I didn't take the bat with me on either of the trips since I've last seen you because it's a bat, and I mean, it could travel, but I don't know. I felt questionable about traveling with it. I didn't want it to get smushed in the packing of things, so I didn't take it. But again, I think I'm going to start spinning 15 every day, and I have those 2 spinning projects, and since we're just chatting a little bit before I show you this last work in progress, I have the silk hankies that I've been working on for a couple years, and I have a sweater spin that I don't remember whether or not I told you I started, but I also have that fiber that I am spinning, and that fiber is actually sharing the spindle with this fiber. None of my spindles are the same weight, so I'm hesitant to switch spindles between projects, or yeah. I tend to use one spindle all the way through a project spin. I know that some people don't have that problem because they buy spindles that are like the same, but I have, some would say it's big and some would say it's small. I think I have about 7 spindles, and they're all different sizes because I use them for different spin types. So that's why that's another reason why I haven't started that bat, because my sweater spin, I split fiber into little nests. So I do 1 nest every time I finish a spindle of something. So I have 1 nest on that spindle, right? I set it aside, and then I spin 2 to 3 nests onto the spindle. So I have that set aside. I have, I think, 1 nest and like a tiny strip of a second nest still to put on that spindle, and then I'll wind that off and work on that fiber. I don't think I have any other fiber spins currently going. I do still, as always, have Carnival Bears, but I finished the first half of it, and I haven't started the second half of it. So I don't know. We'll see about that one. So my final active work in progress. I have several others. I actually made myself write down my list of whips, and side tangent again, I did not watch, I'm not going to say any, but I did not watch very many podcasts in August. I can't quantify how many I watched. Not a lot. Probably less than 10 if there were any. So I've been catching up through all of the August things, and several of the podcasters that I watch have talked about doing a personal whip down, and I'm also kind of doing a personal whip down. So I made a list of all of the whips that I have, and I'm in the parent pickup line every day to pick up my kids. If it's just my kids, then I'm in the line for about 30 minutes. If I'm also picking up my niece, then I am in line for an extra, so I'm in line for about an hour and 15 minutes. Yeah, so I use that time to knit. So my plan is to knit on whips during that time. I don't really have anything. I have one more thing on my list of whips. I showed that in, sorry, my bra strap got twisted. I showed that in a vlog video, I think. My list of what I wanted to make this year. So there's only one thing left on there that I haven't started, and it's a hat. So I will be starting that at some point before the end of the year because it's on my Make 9 and it is the last thing on the Make 9 to start. The Nightingale socks are on the Make 9, so I still have to finish those, but then it's just that and the hat, which is called the Neon Ski Bonnet. But other than that, I don't really want to start things except for more things to work on during work. And other than that, I shouldn't be starting a bunch of things. So yeah, that's my plan and my thought. And I will be taking those whips and working on them during parent pickup line knitting. And I'm thinking that, well, the first week I worked on the slippers. So I'm almost done with that. And I'm definitely going to finish the slipper top, no, not top, slipper sole on Monday. And then I will take the Ziprelaxagons, the next thing out of my whip pile that I want to finish. So I'll take the Ziprelaxagons with the Nightingale and work on that, as I've already explained how I'm going to work on it. But after that, I think I'm just going to pick a whip a week and take it and do as much as I can during the parent line knitting. And then if I feel like taking it the next week, cool. And if I don't, then I'll just switch it up to be another whip. I don't know how many whips I have right this second, but I will put it at the bottom of the screen during editing because it is a quite large number. Quite large. Yeah, that was a big number, wasn't it? So I'm hoping to knock that number down, make it much, much smaller by the end of the year. Not because I have a problem bringing old whips into a new year. I don't. That doesn't bother me. But I also don't want things to be languishing. I started them for a reason, you know? I don't think there's anything that I want to frog, but if I come across something and I'm like, oh, let's just frog this, then I will. I also don't have a problem doing that. So let's talk about the last whip that I'm actively working on, right? Yeah. I cast this on maybe a month ago, and then I didn't really work on it. Not for any reason. Other things were on my radar a little more. I had a few things that I just got really excited for some things. I'm also really excited for this. I saw the yarn and I immediately knew what I wanted to make with it. So this is going to be a fingerless mitt, and I will need test knitters for this in the next couple weeks. So this is one of the other things that I need test knitters for. So this will come up a little more during blocking, but it is a fingerless mitt that is very similar to the Ridgeback socks. Kind of different because there's, you know, this detail is different than on the Ridgeback. But yeah, I'm going to make this into a mitt pattern, and I'll need some test knitters for that. I'm super excited. This yarn has it does have the ball band in the center of the cake of yarn. I'll put my finger in there to hold its spot. This is Cattails yarn. It's a new base. I'm excited. It is the Egyptian Mao base, and it is 60% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 20% silver stellina. This color is, let's see, can I find? My light has changed because I've been talking for so long. Okay, I can't find the color. So, I probably won't put in a picture today. Next week, if it's not right, I will put in a picture. This is Kuhaku River, which is from her new collection, which is Studio Ghibli based colors. Oh my goodness, I love Studio Ghibli so much. And I don't want all of the colors because I don't like every color ever. I don't. But I want a big chunk of that collection. So she sent this to me as kind of a everybody is stressed out right now and freaking out. Here's a present to make your day brighter, and it 100% did. I would actually say it like 300% did. I was having a really crummy day, and then there was a surprise package that I didn't expect, and this yarn is gorgeous. So these mitts, you know, I'm gonna cast on that other sock, but I could actually work on these super easily during lunch. So yeah, I'm gonna cast on that sock, but if I get to like Friday and I've finished that sock because it's just gonna be a shorty, I'm gonna take this to knit on at school too. Anyway, I love it. I'm excited for this design. The gray color is just some Premier Serenity sock in charcoal because I didn't have a good gray to go with it. And I just think the blue and green and white with the gray looks really, really cool. So that will be open for test knitters really soon. Just going to talk about that for a second. So there is a hat that I need test knit. That pair of socks, I will need both socks test knit because there's a right sock and a left sock, and they are mirror images of each other, so I need both of those tested. But then for this fingerless mitt, I will only need one completed for the test knit because they will be the same for both mitt. So yeah, I'm super excited about that. I need some water. I'm gonna go get some water, and then I'm gonna tell you about my summer. So if you're not interested in hearing about why I've been gone, I mean, it's been pretty cool. But if you're not interested, I get it. This has been long. I will see you next week.